What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So this one should be a little fun, I would think. The idea popped in my head. I said, why the hell not? Let's do it. So often I get the comical 30 minutes and below comment for certain fragrances, especially certain ones that are just like beasts on me. They really make me chuckle. And then I've even been told to stop lying, bro. That's a weak performer. Stop lying, bro. That's like 15 minutes at best. That's the funniest shit that I ever get to read. So in this video, we're talking about 7 very specific fragrances that multiple times, at minimum multiple times, I've been told these last 30 minutes or less, when that is 100% not my experience. Even though they call me a liar sometimes, I'm not calling them a liar because everybody's experience is different. So let's talk about them. Stay tuned. The one that creates the biggest chuckle for me is Rasasi Hawas. I've heard it all when it comes to the range of performance people claim with this one. From 15 minutes to 20 to 30 to 45 to an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you name it. I've read it in a comment. I've heard it. I've definitely heard it. Now for me, monster performer that I don't wear more than 4 sprays of. Absolute attention grabber, super long lasting, 10 to 12 hour fragrance on my skin easily. That's why I want to start off with the strongest fragrance of the 7. I figured we'd start off hot because it's a controversial fragrance, because it's a hype beast. Tons of hype, and some people loathe it and hate it, but the majority really appreciate this fragrance and have great experiences. Anosmia is a real thing, people. Skin chemistry issues can be a real thing, people. All of these things factor in: climate, setting, situation, the way these particular oils act on your skin, the way your nose wears out quicker than others with other fragrances. All these things matter, but this scent in particular is the most notorious and the strongest, and it makes me laugh the most when I read that stuff, because this is the one where it's hard for me to believe 30 minutes or less, because it's just, everybody I know that I have some form of at least, at least at minimum an acquaintance on the internet where we have conversations, this is a monster for them. Regardless of the juice color, regardless of the batch. It smells like spicy Invictus. It's a sweet bubblegum aquatic with some cinnamon that really stands out. It's a beautiful fragrance, and don't let what you read on the internet scare you away, because this stuff is warranted when it comes to the hype. 30 minutes or less, right? Rasasi Hawas. So here's one that's mega fresh and could potentially be believable, because this would come down to a skin chemistry thing. I would think anosmia as well. I mean, all of that, both anosmia and skin chemistry applies to each of these. But, I get about 7 hours out of this. So to see 30 minutes or less is very surprising for me. It's Terre Eau Givree. This is a mega bright, airy, fresh, citrus-dominant fragrance, but it does have a strong woody presence in it to kind of ground the scent and give it a little bit of oomph in the dry down to really hold the scent. Oh, God, one of the best openings ever created, though. Hermes, they killed the game when they created this one. So good. My favorite version of Terre Hermes. It's not even close. But again, I would encourage you, don't get discouraged by anything you may hear about performance. This is worth trying. If you live near a department store that carries Hermes fragrances, you really should get out and try this one. If not, buy a carded sample online. A decant something. If you're skeptical about performance, you should always sample before buying. It's always going to be your safest bet to avoid any potential wastes of money on fragrances. But I'll tell you what, this is another one that gets tons of love, tons of hype, because it smells incredible. And the majority of people that I know, I'll just throw a few names out there, like Justin Copeland, Quality Fragrances, Dedrick Hicks Jr., just a couple of my buddies. They have it, they love it. They get kind of similar 6-7 hour range performance out of it, like I do as well. So seems to be a consensus when it comes to opinions that I trust, that it might be anosmia and skin chemistry for others that are experiencing severely less than those numbers. So again, the safest way to go about this would be sampling first. But you really should get your nose on this, because it smells incredible. Terre Eau Givree. So this is a fun one. I've heard tons of weak performance things about this. I've heard it all. I get another one, about 6 to 7 hours of longevity for me. I've seen people tell me they get 10 hours out of this, which surprises me. But the main thing you're going to hear is like maximum 2 hours, but I've heard the 30 minutes or less thing. I couldn't even tell you how many times with Roja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne. This is one of the most gorgeous openings ever. It's metallic, bright citrus, sharp, a little inky, a lot of black currant here. There's some woods and musk. A little bit of leather in the backdrop, though the leather is not really all that dominant in the dry down. It's more of a vetiver wood combo in the dry down. A little bit of musk. There's herbs here in the heart. There's a lot of notes, as with most Roja Parfums fragrances. But the main thing here is that magical opening. This is very captivating. This will draw people in. But you'll hear a ton of weak performance horror stories about this fragrance. And because it's so pricey, it's really got people skeptical, and they go the route of the clones and the inspired fragrances. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good ones out there. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again, none of them really encapsulate the magic of what this fragrance has to offer. It's just missing that special something, no matter how close they get in the scent profile and how much better they can make it perform with cranking up the oil concentration. But the magic, it's all right here. I would encourage you to definitely get your nose on this one. Try it on your skin. You never know. You may get the dreaded 30 minutes or less, but if you don't put it on your skin and you just read stuff and let that convince you to not try it, you may miss out on what could be the best smelling fragrance you ever put your nose on. Again, it's Roja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne. Now, I will say, I had a 10 ml decant years ago, and it was a lot stronger than this. Granted, the decants spoil faster than bottles, but I still get like 6 to 8 hours, easily 7 hours solid of longevity out of this, with 2 hours of pretty good projection. So it boggles my mind when I've heard the 30 minutes and the 20 minutes comments about Mancera's Cedrat Boise. I'm a huge fan of this one. Again, these could just be troll comments, because, the internet's a very fickle-minded place. But I'll tell you what, this is still, in my opinion, one of the best safe plays when it comes to kind of dipping your toe into something a little bit different outside of the designer world, the things you can find at Macy's and Dillard's. Stepping into kind of beginner niche is kind of the way you could look at this. This is mega versatile, super easy to like. You can wear this to work. You can wear this on your day off. You can wear this to dinner. You can wear it in the summer. You can wear it in the winter. It's one of the most versatile fragrances ever created. Kind of an Aventus killer in many ways, because it does the same job. It's known as kind of an alternative to Green Aventus. I don't think it smells like Aventus, barely, maybe 40% at best. But there's a lot of sharp lemon, beautiful fruity notes, and a nice dry woody presence as it settles down. Just a lovely fragrance. Absolutely one I would encourage you to sample. I highly doubt you're going to get 30 minutes or less of longevity, but hey, I've heard it before, and I'm sure I'll hear it again. But one of my favorites, Mancera Cedrat Boise. Oh, wow. So much so when it comes to this one that it's actually leaving the North American market and is going to be a European market exclusive. I get great longevity, again, 6 to 8 hour range, more 6 to 7 hours. Now, admittedly, not a strong projector. After about an hour, it's sitting close to the skin. Unless you go get out and get your body moving and body temperature heating up. That's Zaharoff Signature Citrine. This is a true freshie. There's no real heavy notes to this one outside of a little bit of incense and sea amber that's in the base with some cedar, but it's not designed to just be a dense fragrance. It's designed to be super bright, fresh, and airy, that Italian citrus style, just done with the Zaharoff touch, perfumed by Claude Deer, as all of the house releases are. Up until Coco Loco came out, this was definitely the way to go when it came to fresher, easy-to-wear fragrances from the house. Beautiful sweet orange, limey, clementine smell. Like I said, the incense really jumps out at me when it's on skin more so than out in the air like I just sprayed. This is just a gorgeous, high-quality freshie. But I've heard it a ton of times about an hour or less, 30 minutes or less, 5 minutes, and I can't smell it. I've heard that stuff. I absolutely have. And I can tell you firsthand that the person I know this performs best on is Giorgio Zaharoff himself. This is a sillage monster on him. It's crazy the way his skin reacts to this. It's definitely one that I would encourage you to try, sample. It's about to be completely done here in the North American market, but if you have a bottle, I'm sure you more than likely appreciate the way this one smells. But I'd love to know, do you get 30 minutes or less of performance out of this? Let me know in the comments on any of these fragrances. I love reading these. It's always something to read that kind of stuff. Now, I could believe weaker side. 2 to 3 hours, I could believe that because of skin chemistry. The 30 minutes or less, though, bit of a challenge to believe based on my experience and others I know that have it and enjoy it. So, again, this one notoriously gets that kind of stuff said about it. Zaharoff Signature Citrine. Here's one that I was guilty of putting a ton of hype on last year, especially in the summer. When it comes to the $40 range, there's not too many that are better as far as light blue fragrances for the summer than Missoni Wave. And again, 7-hour range is something about that magic lucky number 7. This is a beautiful citrus aquatic, creamy sweet floral, beautiful vanillic dry down. There's a little bit of orchid here. This is such a good fragrance. Kind of an affordable take on Chanel L'Homme Sport. They definitely went that route because Missoni Parfum pour Homme smells like Bleu de Chanel. The Wave Flanker smells like Chanel L'Homme Sport. I'm spraying this one. It's beautiful. Great atomizer. Magnetic cap. I bought this for $32 at TJ Maxx. This was one of the best pickups under $40 ever that I've ever grabbed. And I have seen the 20 minutes and it's gone stuff. Most notably, more 20-minute range than 30-minute range, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But again, who am I to say what you're getting? You might really be getting 30 minutes out of this, but I damn sure don't. I get pretty solid. I would call this above average performance in projection early on for about an hour and a half. Sillage, average at best, but longevity, above average, 6 to 8 hour range, which is the sweet spot for me. I'm super happy every time I can fall into that range in longevity before they turn into a faint skin scent. That's the case here. Just a great fragrance that I still encourage everybody to get their nose on. It's Missoni Wave. Bro, it's like buying water. Bro, it's a shell of itself. Bro, they reformulated it to death. Bro, I can't smell it after 5 minutes. Bro. I get broed to death on a daily basis, guys. I'll tell you what. This one gets torched for performance. It does, and I don't understand it because I've never gotten less than 6 hours out of this bottle. And this is like a 2018 bottle. The fragrance came out in '96. It's Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio. You want to talk about a fragrance that gets torched for being weak and not lasting and not worth buying anymore. When it comes to people in the fragrance community, you're going to hear that a lot. Not the common guy, the average Joe that buys this and it's been their signature scent for 25 years. Not that guy. The guy in the community that turns their nose up at this. And look, it's full of synthetics. It's absolutely full of synthetics. This is one that you can easily go anosmic to. But kind of that cologne smell, that stays on my skin for a long time. A little bit of a musky tone. I mean, even into the 8-hour range, this will keep going. The aquatic notes will be gone at that point. I won't smell watery anymore. It's kind of a shell of itself at the 7 to 8 hour mark, but it's not a faint skin scent after 6 hours for me. I would say the first 6 hours is the best part of this fragrance for sure, but I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this get torched when it comes to 30 minutes or less in performance. So much more. All of the rest combined, I don't think, add up to how many times I've seen somebody type this about that and just say it to me directly in the 4 years that I've been having this channel on YouTube. It's wild to me. I just don't get it. It's a timeless fragrance. I do agree that every flanker is better. I would take every version of this over the original, but respect your elders. This is the greatest men's fragrance ever created. Just look at the sales numbers. It's still one of the top sellers in the world for men to this day here in the middle of 2023. Here we are on June 14th as I record this of 2023. This came out in 1996. It's still the king of sales when it comes to, and it's probably still the most worn. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But yeah, I've never seen a fragrance get torched with the 30 minutes and below comments about performance more than I have seen it about Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Gio, pour Homme, the Eau de Toilette. Kind of an interesting video, wasn't it? Until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. I mean, I read some crazy stuff. I get a lot of things said to me that make me chuckle sometimes. Again, I'm not calling anybody a liar like I get called a liar. I don't know. It's just sometimes it's hard to believe, especially based on the kind of performance I get. But again, case-by-case basis, everybody's nose tolerance is different in sensitivity, and everybody's skin chemistry is different. So who am I to say somebody's lying? Call me a liar all you want. I'm not, but teach their own, right? I just hope you guys keep smelling great. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 7 and you give them a spray now, I'm pretty confident you're going to get more than 30 minutes of longevity out of them. Have a good one, guys.